drawn to the independent thing because by being with EMI, we were always fucked over by their inability to deal with America. I mean, if you want to see why EMI is in the state it's in, it's because EMI could never deal with America. It was always fucked up. And when the Floyd first came, when the Beatles first came out, they had to go on Vanguard. Or was it VJ?
No,
VJ.
They were rejected.
They were rejected.
They did not once, but twice.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a great. This is a great story. They said we got the Beatles. They gave them "Love Me Do." We don't want it. They gave them "Please Please Me," and "Please Please Me" was the #1. They placed it with VJ Records for a long-term contract, and if they would have just paid royalties, which they didn't do as a Chicago R&B company, they also had the Four Seasons, a very good company. But I mean, they had the Jerry Butler and the Impressions, and great label. But they weren't regular payers, So I've been accused of that too. So back in the day, I mean, you're a little slow. I mean, when you're running an independent company and it's a struggle, your main obligation is to keep your doors open. I mean, I'm not trying to. I'm just saying. I mean, by saying VJ, nobody's perfect. They're a great record company, legendary. So they got the records away from VJ, and they said, "Look, this new record, She Loves You, it's going to go straight in at #1. No, we don't want it." And Capitol had too much independence, and they, even though they were owned 100%. They would just tell the EMI, "Fuck off." And then finally, what they came up with, they gave She Loves You one record deal, just that record, to one of the labels in Philadelphia. All of the Philadelphia labels were owned, at least half, by Dick Clark, who was the #1 force in breaking records on television with American Bandstand. But Dick wanted it on the label that he owned completely, a label called Swan. He was greedy. And he got the record and put it out, and then everything broke loose, and the EMI got from "I Want to Hold Your Hand" onward, which in America people think that was the first record. It was the 4th record. But then EMI, in their wisdom, after getting rescued by the Beatles, turned down Jerry and the Pacemakers. It turned out the Animals, Herman's Hermits. Manfred, I think we're on Phillips. But I mean,
but they took the Pink Floyd and put on Tower Records, which was
run by Mike Curb.
Which was run by Mike Curb and did motorbicycle records for sort of sexploitation.
The
motorbike sort of film soundtracks.
I mean, Wild Angels and stuff.
Absolutely, completely, and that's why in the end, I think really back to then is why in the end EMI Capitol lost the Floyd. It goes right back. They never got behind the Floyd. And they never got behind the Harvest Acts because we opened this label, which was like a fake independent within EMI called Harvest Records. Yeah. And they would never release the Harvest Records in America properly. They took the label, but would never release the records. And it just drove me crazy. But they would sign the records from Ireland.